It's been a long time. I thought you left me without a strong rhyme to step two, step two. Hey, it's been a long time. I started this over a year ago, but it's time to get back to real talk, real fathers, and real men. It's your boy. So for the next 29 minutes, I'm going to be chilling with y'all, dropping some knowledge. It's hard to say that with a straight face if you really know me when I say I'm going to drop knowledge. Because I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm the dumbest with four boys. And so, where did that put me? Hey, man. You know, it is what it is. As long as you know your level, that's one way to start. Topic of the day is, I ain't one of your church people. The reason why I'm doing this one is because in my church, the census has gone down as far as people coming to church. But then as a whole, in the church period, the numbers has been going down in every church, everywhere. And, you know, if you ask somebody, they'll say the reason for that is because church is so accessible now on the internet. You know, social media is taking control, TV, so many other venues that you can use versus using the church. Well, for me, I think the reason why is because the same reason, I don't really think it's gone down. I just think it's the same reason that it always been. We just at the point where when people become saved, they feel like they become elite. The key word is elite, you know. And so this young lady put on Instagram, you know, that Lil Kim, what's that girl name? Oh, God, I can't, not Lil Kim, but Nicki Minaj is doing a gospel album. Prior to that, she put on that Snoop Dogg was doing a gospel album. And she was like, what are we going to? We're allowing these people to get into our circle. It's just blasphemy. Oh, Lord have mercy. What are we going to do about this? Oh, we must join together and get these heathens from out of our midst. It's just, oh, Lord have mercy on their soul. These heathens just trying to, I don't know, what are they trying to do? And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. You know, didn't the Bible say, come to me who is heavy burdened, and I will give you rest, you know? And so I get it back. I said, you know, I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm new into this Christian thing, even though I've been a Christian my whole life. And I consider myself being saved my whole life, but I've never been a part of this new church where somebody that we consider a sinner is not allowed to seek God. It's not allowed to worship God. So I'm like, so somebody help me, cool? Somebody tell me what's going wrong. Where are we going wrong with this at? So she was like, well, in this Bible verse it says this, in the scripture it says that. Her basic thing is that if somebody gonna come to Christ, if they're not coming to bear fruit, then they're not worth it. So I'm asking y'all, you know, what do y'all think about that? To me, this is not, church is not a business. Becoming a child, well, we all are children of God, but becoming into the fold, trying to make it to heaven, we don't, it's not a selective group. It's not what can I, you're not going to Jesus saying, and you're not, because nobody comes to the Father but by the Son. So you're not going to Jesus saying, hey Jesus, look home, I got like 4 mules, I got 3 cats, let me see, and I got $3.14, and if you let me get in on the payment plan, I may be able to give you a little bit of something else on the 3rd, okay? And no, that's not the way it works. You know, the Bible says if you confess with your mouth and your heart that I believe in Jesus Christ as my personal Savior, I will be saved. And so if that's all it takes, then God gonna change you. He gonna change the things that he feel need to be changed, and what man think need to be changed is gonna stay the same. Because if it was all about you becoming this holier than thou person, walking on water and speaking in parables, then that means Steve Harvey will be a completely different person now. You know, but if you look at Steve Harvey today, he's older, he's wiser, he's a whole lot richer, he's a whole lot mature, but as far as his walk with God, I really don't think it's very much different. And I know Steve Harvey will never see this, but he ain't no different to me. I mean, and that's why people listen to that 12 minutes every morning, because they can relate to him more than they can relate to that joker in the pulpit, because he keep it real. You wonder why T.D. Jakes got a gazillion million members in his church. That joker show up and he sell out domes. He sell out stadiums. The reason why, if you listen to Bishop sermons, Bishop will tell you in a minute, like, hey, you know, he was a childhood, a teenage preacher, so he been the same way his whole life. He done had to walk with God a long time, but he's still Thomas Jakes. He's still who he is. You know, we forget that. And like in the example I gave this young lady, it's like you was born a woman, and no matter what you do, you're gonna always, if you could be born a woman, you can make $1 million, you're still a woman. You was born a woman, you can go out and you can rob a bank, you can still be a woman. You was born a woman, you can go out and get a doctorate degree, you're still gonna be a woman. You can go out and have sex with 1,000 men, and you're still gonna be a woman. And it's the same thing. We're born into a world of sin. So we're born as sinners. That's who we are. We are sinners. So no matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, you can stay on your knees 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and you can stay on your knees, and you're still going to commit some type of sin, whether in your mind, body, or spirit. You're still going to commit some type of sin. You can't avoid it, because that's who you are. And God recognized that. That's why he sent his son called Jesus. And that's why he died. And when he died 2,000 years ago, he died knowing that a sin that Big Easy gonna make today, he died knowing that I was gonna commit that sin. It's no sin too bad that he haven't even thought of, that he said, I won't forgive you from. But what happens, we become church folk. And when we become church folk, we feel like we got to wear a dress at a certain height. We feel like we can't wear makeup. We feel like, you know, all our desires of this world goes away. And I use this example all the time, and it's not saying I'm trying to give everybody a pass, on being a child of God. I'm just trying to keep it real. You have to use Noah for instance. Soon when Noah looked up in the light, he peeked out the window. Like, is it still raining? Come peek, it ain't raining no more. Hey y'all, it ain't raining no more. Before he can get the first animal off the boat, Noah started drinking. He went back to what he was prior to God saving him. You look at every last one of the disciples, and you know, I'm not a Bible scholar, but if you look at every last one of the disciples, all of them basically went back to what they were before they started following Jesus. So you mean to tell me all the work they done, these people going to hell? Nah, couldn't Pete. No, they ain't going to hell, because God said, Jesus in the Bible, like Jesus was telling the lawyers that came to ask them and kind of put them on the spot. They asked them like, hey, look, huh? You know, what do you have to do to be saved? He says two things. He said, first you got to love me. Okay? And then next thing, you got to love your neighbor. You got to love your neighbor. That's all it's about, man. That's all it's about. It's about love. And that's what I put on my Instagram and Facebook the other day. I don't have no haters. I don't have no enemies. Because if you truly love God, you ain't got no, you can come up to me right now, and you can smack me, you can hurt one of my babies or whatever. Am I going to be angry? Yes, I'm going to be angry. Am I going to hurt you? Yes, I'm going to hurt you. I'm sorry. I'm going to hurt you, and if you hurt one of my babies, I got to do what I got to do, because God put me here. And certain people like me, He put us here as warriors. He put us here as providers. He put us here, and so I got to do what I got to do. But then I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna ask for forgiveness. And probably before I hurt you, I'm gonna say a prayer with you, and let you know, like, hey, come Pete, you did what you had to do, and so I got to do what I got to do. I'm gonna have to put hands on you, and I'm gonna have to hurt you like really, really bad, cuz it just is what it is, because the Lord put me here to protect my babies. He put me here to provide for my babies. So I got to do what I got to do. But I'm doing this out of love. The love I have for them is greater than the love I have for you. So you got to pay the favor. But now after I do what I do to you, you know, am I going to go through life living with that hatred and anger in my head? No, I'm not. You know, because I used to fight against this all the time, this forgiving spirit I have in my heart, this way that I love people in my heart. And I'm like, man, why am I like this? I hate this about me. I can't hold a grudge. If somebody do something wrong to me, I feel like I just have to forgive them. If, you know, and then I get angry because I said I'm always forgiving people. But soon I mess up, nobody forgives me. Soon I mess up, it's magnified. But hey, everybody ain't you. Everybody ain't where you at. Everybody ain't been what you been through. You know, so bottom line up front, you know, I don't expect somebody to forgive me when I do wrong. You know, I expect people, because you know what? I'm going to do wrong today. I'm going to do wrong tomorrow. I'm going to do wrong 10 seconds from now, because I am who I am. I can't run from who I am. And you know, people say you have a choice of what you do, but because you have freedom of choice, to a sense you do. But for the most part, who you are is who you are. And you can sit up here and you can try and play make-believe and be somebody else. And the more you try and play make-believe, the more you sit up here and be miserable. And then you develop hatred in your heart. And that hatred in your heart start turning towards people that ain't done nothing to you. You know, I've seen jokers, black, white, Chinese, or whatever, you know, that just look at me because of the color of my skin and just instantly, I just make them cringe. You know, just make them cringe. And then I'm sitting up there, "Cuz Pete, what I do to you?" "Oh, it's not what you did to me." If you can read their minds, it's not what you did to me, it's what you represent. What do I represent? You're black. Dude, not trying to say black people is better than whites or whatever, but you have to say to yourself, hey, you know what? These people was brought over here as slaves. These people here don't have a country they can call home but America. So why am I hating them? You know? And is this what's going to keep me out of heaven? Because bottom line up front is about love. If I can't get nothing else across today, because this is about making men better, making fathers better, you know? And so the way I feel like we can do this, we got to spread the love. We got to spread the love. Now, I know y'all don't like to talk about guys, you know, and women and dating women and all that, because it's a simple fact. People feel like, you know, men are dolls and this and that, the world is round. But one of my partners he was telling me that he went out with one of his frat boys, and he said, and both of these guys are single, and one of the frat brothers was pushing up on this married woman, and so the married woman, she started pushing up on my partner. So my partner, you know, he just being him, started flirting back with her. And then his frat dog pulled him to the side and said, "Man, I don't believe you, man." He said, "Believe me about what?" He said, "Man, you seen that I was flirting with her. You seen I was trying to get with her, and then you just gonna go around my back." He said, "Dude, I'm not going behind your back." He said, "Only thing I'm doing is she's showing me more love than she's showing you. So bow down, dude. Just say, well, okay, this is a battle I ain't even gonna try and get into, because this is my boy and I have love for him. And this girl, believe it or not, she had more love for him also. So I'm gonna bow down and let their love flourish." You know, and that's a bad example because she was married, but bottom line up front, that's what I want to tell you about. That's what when I talk about love, I'm talking about stuff like that. Stop saying a brother's he a hater. Stop saying a sister she a hater. Flattery is let me see, copying somebody is the greatest show of flattery. So in other words, if I go out here and I buy a new Camaro, which Jamal, if you're looking at this, don't buy another Camaro. CLS 550, baby. That's my name. That's my dream car. I'm sorry, but when I get me $2-3 more in my pocket, I got to get that CLS 550. But anyhow, that's another story. But if I go out here and I get a Camaro, you go out here and get a Camaro, I'm not going to look at you and say, "Oh, man, you're trying to be like me." I'm looking at you. I'm dapping you up. And the reason why I'm dapping you up, you just showed me ultimate love. You saying that you respect something I did as a good move. So if you respect something I did as a good move, you showing me not only mad respect, but you showing me mad love. And I just want to give you different examples of the way that we had to show love, because if not, we're gonna go to church and we're gonna say, "I want to join this church." And then once we join this church, we're gonna go to these new members classes. And in the new members classes, they're gonna be teaching that you're supposed to tithe. They're gonna teach that you're gonna change all your evil ways. They're gonna teach that, you know, because you went to the club last night, you can't tell nobody. You got to fake it. You got to go to the club 30 miles down the road because nobody can know that you're going to a club. They're not going to teach you that, but in a sense, they're going to be telling you that subliminally to get it in your mind that, okay, now that you done became a member of this church and you seeking the love of God, this is what you're going to have to do. But Big E is telling you, no, the things that God see in you that he don't like, he's going to remove those things. And he's going to remove those at his timing. He just wants you to do two things. Love him. Love and worship. Worship and love is, to me, it's the same thing. You know, get on your knees and pray every day. Get on your, you know, just when you sitting around ain't doing that, just holler out and talk to God and talk to Jesus and say, hey, what's up, cuz? You know, I'm just here, man. I'm just trying to figure out, you know, what direction you want me to go. How is it? Did I miss something today? Did I miss showing somebody some love? Was I, you know, because those things that the church may see that's bad in you, maybe the God may be holding those things in you just so you can talk to somebody else. So in other words, he put love in your heart. Now that you have love in your heart, you become the Good Samaritan. Just look that up in the Bible and you'll see the story about the Good Samaritan. But you become the Good Samaritan, and you can't be the, and it may be a girl. Man, this may be a girl, this is a strip club, man. You guys, it's good. But nah, you know, I'm a comedian, man. But you can go to the strip club, and you didn't lose that desire to go to the strip club. So you're at the strip club, and while you're there, it could be a brother sitting there, it could be a sister dancing, and she could be have something heavy on her heart, but because you still had the desire to go there, and you can understand, well, like, Lord, I just don't feel like this is a part of you. Why I still have this in my heart? And if you have your mind open like that to God, then you can say, when you in there, and then all of a sudden it hits you like a ton of bricks, because this girl come up to you and she giving you a dance, and then afterwards she say, hey, you mind if I sit down? No, sit down. You know, I was going through this, and I don't know, you just seem different. You just seem like somebody I could talk to. You know, this is in my head, and you know, I was raised in the church, but you know, this lifestyle I'm living, you know, I don't know if I can go back to the church. And then because of what you've been through and the way you be living, you can say, hey, you know, sister, I'm going to tell you the story of the prodigal son. You can always come back home. You can always come back home. Next thing you know, this sister, now she's in church. And the thing about it, her mission could be way larger than yours. Your mission could just be, you know, but every mission is a mission. But say, and I'm not putting ushers as non-significant, but your job could just be an usher. This girl that you just witnessed to and brought her out to the strip club, her job is, you know, you know, helping battered women. Her job is, you know, getting women off of drugs, getting women off of whatever. But the only person that could have talked to her was you. But if you go to church and you join the church and you become a church person and you lose that love, the thing that you're supposed to have in your heart, you lose that love in your heart, and the only thing you can think of is just being this perfect person. So now you never make it to the strip club. And then if you do make it to the strip club, you like this. You don't want them to know that you in there, and you don't want them people to know that you who you are. So you like this. So since you like that, then when nobody's gonna be able to talk to you, when somebody do talk to you, you're trying to be incognito. Don't want them to know that you Deacon Riley from the church, and I'm supposed to be up in here. But if you go in there, you're like, hey man, you know, hey look, I'm still fighting with this. Like Steve Harvey be saying all the time, God ain't through with me yet, cuz. You know, so it's things that, you know, I sang a song that says, things I used to do, I don't do no more. Places I used to go, I don't go no more. Sons of Air John, y'all remember that? But, you know, when God removed those things, you know, they gone. You never, I mean, you never had the desire to go and do those things no more when God moved them completely. But he may not. He chose you for that mission because of who you were, because of things you've been through, how you was built. That's why you're on that mission, not because you know, because you pray harder than everybody else, and you can hide who you are, you know. My greatest preacher in the world was Reverend Jose Amari. He baptized me, he married me, and he was my preacher growing up. And he smoked, you know. And people used to say, oh, that is so wrong. But I tell you what, that joke in heaven right now. I bet dollars a donuts Reverend Henry sitting up there chilling in heaven. I mean Reverend Morris sitting up there chilling in heaven. You know, because he knew God. You can tell when that joker preached. And then he had so much love for everybody else. I ain't never hear that joker say a discouraging word about nobody. I can't judge nobody and say who going to heaven and who going to hell. But I can tell you one thing. I feel like only thing I got to do to make it to heaven, and I could be wrong, is two boys kissing in the mouth, and that's my business. Because you'll never know whether I made it in or not until Judgment Day. But I tell you what, I feel like if Big Easy go out here and show love to everybody, if Big Easy go out here and treat everybody equal, not look down on nobody, not ridicule nobody, but just go out here and just love, man. I believe it, man. My wife get mad at me today because I would go up and talk to anybody. I go up and show love to anybody, and I couldn't. And I used to fight this all the time, but I ain't fighting it no more. I am who I am. I got so much love to give. Whoa, yeah. I got all this love to give. And you know, that's what you got to do. You got to find out who you are. You got to stop trying to contain who you are, because who you are is who you was made to be. So look, looking at my Gucci, it is that time. No more stories and no more rhymes. No more songs, no more wrongs. Just time for me to pack my stuff and go ahead home. Okay, that was just a silly rhyme. But anyhow, till the next time, this has been Real Talk, Real Fathers, Real Men. You know, we're going to try and do this at least once a week, get back into it, you know, because what I'm preparing myself for is probably in the next 30 days, this is really going to be a real radio show. It's going to be on a radio station, on an internet radio station. I'm finalizing the deals now to just do that. So if you have a business and you want advertisement, because I had to find my own sponsors, and you want to sponsor the show, hey, come on in, man. Give me about $2-3 to the third, man, and we will shout you out on Real Talk, Real Fathers, Real Men, on this internet radio show that's right now is being heard in, I think, like 20 different countries and over all 50 states. So if you want to get some advertisement, you know, feel free, hit your boy up. Like I said, probably be mid-August when we're going to have our initial opening of our radio show. And like I said, we'll be talking about everything. It's not just about religion. It's about sex. It's about relationships. It's about money. It's about education. You know, whatever we can do. Because I said Real Talk, Real Fathers, Real Men, because we really have to realize that, you know, the basis of a home is always going to have to start with the man of the house. And we got to get back into that. It's not been a male chauvinist big, it's just reality. But this your boy Big Easy. It's been real, it's been fun, but I got to run. And we'll see you, as my granddaddy used to say, we'll see you on the next roundup.